Welcome to Royal Reflections with King Mas. You know what I mean? And the family. Yeah. Everybody introduce yourself. I don't need to introduce everybody. And I need no introduction. But
you're not even going to introduce yourself?
Me?
Yeah, you have to.
King Mas Duras. The musical opium man. You're going to see them know me.
Yes. Alex Ford, the eye behind the vision.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I go by the name of David Adeyemi, also known as Church D, producer, engineer, musician.
I'm Andre Samitai Wilson. I'm currently just going by Andre Samitai Wilson. I'm trying to work Dr. Drace into this a little bit, but it feels a little pretentious.
Yeah. So, well, that's what the doc says. And today, Royal Reflection is going to be on the topic of Suga An Wata. Now, this is a single of mine that's been out for just over a year. It's been very impactful and it's very relatable. A lot of people relate to it for various reasons. So I want to reason with my brethren and hear what is a situation in your life that you feel like represents that Suga An Wata principle, which is something that is sweet in the moment, enjoyable in the moment, but is ultimately very detrimental.
So I guess I'll just say the elephant in the room, and I think that
Wait there.
I think the elephant in the room when you think about Suga An Wata, definitely is relationships. Definitely, sometimes you have that woman who's really sweet. She's really great looking. She has the package. She has everything that would, entice you, in that moment. But as time unfolds and stuff like that, you end up seeing that she's not quite. You guys aren't as compatible as you would have imagined in the daydreams that you had when she first walked by.
Right.
And definitely, I had the privilege to shoot the music video for it. I was part of the music video shooting for it, so I'm definitely very, very intimate with that concept.
Oh yes.
And I think just
big up Bailey and the way she there.
Yeah, definitely.
St. Lucia's finest.
Yes. And definitely everybody else out in Orlando as well.
Miss Ill, the whole family,
yeah.
My Art of Maisha.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
And definitely. So the concept is it strikes home. It strikes home. I think definitely I think every man goes through this at a certain point in time where it's like, you're I'm gonna say you're on the prowl, but
it's a road.
No, but you're on you're on the look. You're on the look for somebody who's gonna be a great compliment to yourself. And a lot of times when you're looking for something that is going to be very enticing, you want something that's going to be,
You're the visual man, so the visual appeal.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Everything has to be in frame.
This is my realm, and definitely, I'd like for things to look, a certain way. I want it to look appealing and everything. So, sometimes that sense of sight can definitely, there's a lot of tricks that you could play. And definitely, being a visual master as well, it's like, I know there's a lot of visual optical illusions that get played. And, sometimes just things get misrepresented.
Optical illusion. I guess they're up on the back of cereal box. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, that's definitely, that's all written right into the lyrics of the song. So
For
that's
sure.
That's definitely one of the main levels of it. What next? What's our next Suga An Wata experience? Yeah, I see a look on your face like.
I mean, I could use it to relate it to just being a producer or a musician. There's a ton of gear out there in the world, and you can just buy the most expensive gear. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. It has all these buttons and whatnot on it, but
Sweet.
it's not really good for you if you don't have the talent. So like, I can go buy a keyboard that costs $4,000 and only know like 3 or 4 chords. Wherein I could get like, $400 keyboard and I can play the fire out of it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you said if you don't have the talent, I was thinking if a man don't have the budget, get all this expensive gear. Because they say that it's a poor workman blames his tools. So even when you have what seems like inferior tools, then you should still be able to deliver on a high level,
Right.
with a high degree of skill.
I was thinking about easy answers. Because I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I always look for like the answer to something, like I guess like a profound ontological answer, like, you know, that's the truth or whatever, but I feel like that's misleading, and like you want that comfort, but I don't know, that comfort's fake. It's a false comfort. It leads you in a weird direction, and you realize that later, but then at the same time, like, you need some comfort in your life. Even false comfort once in a while. So
true. It's interesting because that all kind of plays into the literary tool. It's just this archetypal phenomenon of like the hero's journey, where you almost have to go off into the wilderness and give up all of your comforts in order to arrive at a place where you're worthy of, you know, leadership or whatever have you, or even come to just knowledge of self, whatever the case may be. Which is interesting because as it relates to this, there's actually a story about a particular deity within the Orisha pantheon. Is known as Babalu Aye. Within Vodun, he's known as Sakpana, and he's basically the deity of smallpox and disease. Right? And the story of Sakpana is that he was born a very handsome prince, but he was a prince that obeyed no customs. He obeyed no rules. He just went for anything that enticed him. He just went for it. One day, you know, he returned to his village, you know, covered in sores that were leaking pus, and it was just a horrid sight because he refused, whether it's hygiene or whatever, he just didn't care. There were no rules for him. And so he was chased from his village. He was shunned, and along his journey, there was a very old man that saw him and took pity on him, and took him in, gave him some strength, some food, some shelter, and spoke a word of prophecy to him that, you know, although he's been shunned in his village, you know, if he'll change his ways and change his thinking, he'll actually be very revered in another country, in a faraway land. And they said that he began in, you know, maybe towards Yoruba land or towards those areas, and he became one of the most venerated deities in what's modern day Benin, the kingdom of Dahomey. But he had to go through, you know, he had to become a hideous being where he actually is depicted wearing, I believe it's palm fronds over his head, like his whole body is covered. He covers his body from head to toe because it's just so hideous. So, yeah, he was sipping the Suga An Wata, and he had to leave it out. But even with that, there's still redemption. So,
yeah, that reminds me of like saying, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? So you can get all of these, you know, riches, all these jewels, everything just given to you, but if you're not right within, it's like, what really are you gaining?
Ultimately.
But I guess it also reminds me of, like, are they riches in the first place?
Right.
Like, I mean, like, I think of, there's this, like, icon in the Middle Ages in Europe where there's this very beautiful woman, but then, like, you kind of look below and she's, like, rotting in a way, like, almost like a corpse.
Right.
And it's superficial. It's like, it looks beautiful, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's, like, deceptive in a way.
Right. And it makes you wonder what qualifies as riches.
Yeah.
What qualifies, like, why is money considered riches? Why is precious jewels considered riches?
Absolutely. Paper and rocks.
Right.
Now we just need the scissors and we could play a game. But, the other thing is, one thing I love about the concept of Suga An Wata, even the way that I wrote it, is that it was something that actually, at an earlier stage of my development, was pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like when I was a child, you know, drinking sugar water, whether it's, you know, a lot of kids run around drinking Kool-Aid and all kind of nonsense. They shouldn't be. But when you're a child, you know, you can drink it and you run around, you run it off, and it's okay, somewhat, for back then. And then with Suga An Wata too, they squeeze a lot of lime in it, which kind of alkalizes it, so it's pretty decent. But as an adult, you see,
the thing is, when we made the video, we made the drink,
right?
Oh, okay.
And it made the drink, and I was like, all right, so we're starting to make the drink. You know, I take the lime, you know, I take the lime and
brown
just
sugar,
lime and brown sugar and just water. So I'm squeezing the lime in there. You know, I'm putting a little sugar in there. You know, just sugaring it up just to a degree. So it's like, you know, limonade. He's like, no. That's not. He's like, that's not. He's like, that's limonade. That's not sugar and water. And I'm like, and he literally literally just took the whole, like, he took like half of the sugar bag and just dumped it in there, and it was like literally like syrup. It's like this syrupy mixture, and I'm like,
and a lime water, sugar and water.
I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely it was intense.
And y'all made it out without diabetes.
Oh my gosh.
Hey.
I had like a little small cup.
A lot of it was for the look. A lot of it was for the look. Because even if he had zoomed in close enough, you would have seen all the sugar circle at the bottom, man.
Yeah, it was bad. It was like you have to keep mixing it to keep the sugar.
But again,
to keep the sugar stirred in.
Oh wow.
But even when it comes to like consciousness, just in terms of your evolution as a man, that there are a lot of things that are acceptable to you when you're in a less developed stage, and then as you know, when you're at our point in life, these things. You know, so that was the first time I probably had that since I was a teenager, and it's going to probably be the last. You know, and I hope that's the last bacon scene as well. I have to walk into that reaction shot.
That was good.
Iconic.
Yeah, that was definitely good.
So, yeah, you know, that's more or less the reflection for today. Suga An Wata. You know, as always, keep it loyal, keep it royal. King Master that.